Hi, this is Julie. Welcome back to my channel. I remember after the surgery, the nurse called me and she was like, she's back here crying for you, but we're about to take her to the room. We're not going to keep her back here in recovery. And when she came out, she just kept saying, Mama, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry for everything I did. God spared me. He saved me. I love you. I'm sorry. And I just kept telling her, I was like, Brittany, it's okay. We're here now. None of that stuff matters. And we're going to move forward. And her dad was there. But I could tell like he was kind of annoyed that she was just all on me. But like I said, Brittany was emotional, and I do believe that she was sorry, and it was hard. Even the hospital, the physical therapist came to help her walk with the crutches, and because they had to have like her leg was packed and she had this brace on so she couldn't bend her leg. So they had to show her how to walk up and down the stairs because her bedroom was upstairs, how to walk up and down the stairs with her crutches. And even after the lady left, like she was walking back and forth across the room. And I was like, what are you doing? She was just like, I just want to see what I can do. Like Brittany was determined, man. She was, and it's so crazy because I want to say this, she endured so much stuff before she came to my house. She was cutting herself when she first came to my house. And it was hard. She had been through so much. And we were at my mother's house, and her and I just both happened to be putting our dishes in the sink at the same time, and I saw her arm. And I didn't say nothing to her then. I waited till we got home, and I was like, how long have you been doing this? And she told me, and she told me why. She had been raped when she was 8 for the first time, 8 years old. Told her mother this was a friend of her mom's. Mom didn't still allow the guy to come around, didn't do anything. And this happened to her several times by her mother's friends because she would just have random people around her. So when we're in the hospital, she was very apologetic like the whole time. She kept telling me how much she appreciated that I was there. And she couldn't believe that I had to, because I stayed with her the whole time until she left. And we got back home. Like I said, we had to do the radiation cleanup and all those things. So I would have to take her, it was a lot, but the building was very close to my job. So I would take her over there, come and get my stuff ready, because I'm partially responsible for getting our substitute teachers ready in the mornings and all their stuff together. So I would come, do that, leave, go pick her back up, take her to school, and we were doing this for 2 weeks every single day. And then she's in school. She finally went back. Everything, and like I said, everything was going okay. And then I find out that she was smoking weed. I was very upset. And I told her, I was like, listen, you're going to have to go stay with your dad. Now, this is the first time that I was adamant, and I called him and I told him, you're going to have to come get her. Because I didn't want to be angry with her. I didn't want to be in a bad space with her. I didn't want her to feel no type of way. But I just felt like at this point, I'm running around here trying to do everything I can, and you're doing something that can cost you your life. She was still on chemo every day for the tumors in her lungs because they couldn't take them out. I was just, it was just too much. And I called her dad and I was like, you're going to have to come get her because this is what's going on. And he was like, well, kids make mistakes. Absolutely, they do. But this right here can cost her life. So you need to come get her. She was upset, and it was hard for me to let her go over there. But at that point, I didn't want her and I to get in a bad place for her health and for mine. Because after she left, I had a heart attack in January. So you know, it was just like, it was too much. And I told her, I was like, even when she first came back home, I said, listen, we're going to start with a clean slate. You know, she was young, and I understand she had been hurt so much by her mom and her dad. And like I said, I had had her since she was the time she was 11. And when she went to go stay with her dad, she was, I believe that was in like March of that year. I'm not sure. It was close towards the end of the school year. And she was graduating that year. Her and my 19-year-old son, they were both graduating. They were in the same grade. So she ended up going to stay with her daddy, and she got the scholarship, and she went to college. And on her graduation, because COVID happened, both of them were 2020 graduates. So COVID happened, and at first our district made a decision to do virtual graduations. And then they decided to have what they called in-person celebrations, where we did it out at stadiums, and it was very hot. This is Texas. It was crazy. Her school was a special school. They're very small. Their class was maybe 50 kids. I think it was 48 kids in our class. And she went to all-girls school. It's a leadership academy. My son, we're also a special school, and he graduated from the school that I worked for. But there's like 400 something kids in his class. So they only gave you 4 tickets, and it absolutely floor applied to everyone. Like, I have a grandson, and he's 9 months, but like if they were going to take the baby, he counted as a ticket. So I was working our graduation, so I gave the 4 tickets to my kid's father. One of my daughters had to work, and my son, that is her biological brother, he had went to her graduation and didn't want to go to his because he was like, it's too hot. And I was like, listen, I understand. I'm not even mad. We have limited tickets. So if you're okay with not going, that's fine. So what ended up happening is her dad, her brother, my son, and then his 2 other children, they end up going. So that was her 4 tickets, right? So I sent like her some money and a card. And she texted me back, and she was like, you know, thank you for the card. And I'll post on the screen right here what she texted me. So you know, and we were good, even though things didn't end. Because the last time she came to pick up the rest of her stuff, she was just like, I just want you to let you know I love you, you know. And I was like, I love you too. But I can't lie and say that I wasn't mad at that time. But I didn't want to be in a bad space with her, like I said. So when she texted me, you know, it really meant the world to me, what she said. Because I felt like all of the struggling and the tug of war that I was going through with her, you know, it paid off in the end. Because I do understand that her transitioning from being almost an adult and having all these responsibilities, it changes your mind about a lot of things. In her mind, she was grown, even though she wasn't. You know, she was very naive about a lot of things. Super smart, but very naive. So she would call my son often. They would FaceTime a lot. She changed her last name to her father's last name before she went to school. And I happened to be in my library doing some schoolwork. Because of COVID, I've picked up a public health certificate after I finished my master's. So I was in there doing some homework, and she called, and I heard her saying she was changing her last name. And my son was like, wow, why would you do that? That's our last name. And she was like, well, because mama ain't never done nothing to me. She's not talking about me. She was talking about her biological mother. But I was just like, she's still angry. She needs to let that go, you know? Because in total, she hadn't even been in her dad's house for like a year. Not even a year. So, but I understand. I'm a very understanding person. I'm not petty. Like I said, I always made sure that he knew what was going on with them, you know. And early on, like, I used to text him and tell him, hoping he would come and talk to them or discipline them when stuff had happened, but he never did. So I stopped doing it. I'm not the type of person going to keep asking you, because this is the way I feel. You're an adult, you know, you have children, you know, they have needs, you know, and I don't even care if you're paying child support. Money does not take the place of you being present in their lives at all. So, you know, I'm not gonna beg you. Either you're gonna do it or you're not. So I got to the point where, like, you know, he would call me and tell me like stuff he saw on their social media he didn't like. And I would tell him, like, he would tell me I needed to talk to them. But I was like, listen, I talk to them. And if you have a problem with anything you see, he always had both their numbers. You can call them and talk to them and tell them how you feel as their father. That's fine. So, and I kind of feel like I'm trying to stay away from this, but I know I have to do this. So the last time they talked, they were fine. Like I said, she called him often. They talked on the phone a lot. Her and my second to the oldest, she's pregnant now. And